Before I start this episode, I want to mention that if you were waiting for a new episode on Friday, no, I did not forget to release it. Here is what happened. After years of releasing new episodes every single Friday, I'm ready for a little bit of a change. So, moving forward, new episodes of the Grad School Femtoring Podcast will be released on Mondays. I made this change for many reasons. Logistically, it supports me and my work, but more importantly, it helps you get that fresh insight at the beginning of your week. That will give you more time to listen, to reflect, to make sure you catch up if you fall behind, and it gives you the full week to put what you learn into practice. So I'm excited to test this out with you, to see how the Monday episodes work out, and let me know your thoughts if you have any thoughts about this, okay? All right, that's it. Let's get into the topic for today. It's that time of year again. The time of year when grad admission season is starting up and I get a knock on my virtual door with multiple DMs, with multiple emails, some from people I know, some from complete strangers who are asking if they can pick my brain so that they can figure out whether or not they should go to grad school. And one of the things that comes to mind when they're figuring this out is whether or not it makes financial sense to go to grad school. So for today's episode, I'm going to cover the topic of how to calculate the ROI of grad school. Why? Because I believe everybody should know this. And also because this is the episode I'm going to be sending to every single person who wants to pick my brain, because I literally don't have enough time or capacity. And it's also the work that I get paid to support others to do. So if you want to get the 411 or the insights on all things how to calculate if it makes financial sense to go to grad school, then listen up. This is the episode for you. Welcome to the award-winning Grad School Femtoring Podcast, the place where first-generation BIPOC students and professionals can listen in on inclusive grad school stories and gain practical tools for sustainable success. This is Doctora Yvette Martinez-Vu, a certified coach, consultant, author, and speaker. I will be serving as your femtor, providing you with insider knowledge to help you thrive in grad school and beyond. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Grad School Femtoring Podcast. This is your host, Doctora Yvette. I am recording this episode in late August. This is usually when grad admission season starts to kick in. This is when people are considering whether or not to apply to grad school. They are working on their grad school list. They might be reaching out to professors from different programs. And they're doing all that prep work in advance because things really start to get busy in the later season, starting October, November, December, and even January and February for some master's program applicants. But in any case, regardless of what type of graduate program you're applying to, I want to help you with figuring out whether or not the return on investment is worth it for you. Because I'm sure you've heard this before. Maybe you've mentioned the topic of grad school to a mentor or to a friend or to a parent or to a spouse, and they might tell you as a reaction, well, make sure that you calculate the ROI before you make such a big decision. And of course, it's good that they're reminding you this, but very few of us are actually taught how to do that. How do you actually do those calculations? And so the first step that I want you to do is to think about your current earning potential. So let's assume you don't have an advanced degree. That's why you're thinking of going to grad school. And all you have, or all you plan to have if you're an undergrad finishing up your program, is your bachelor's degree. So look up some data on your salary expectations based on your current degree. So what is the current starting salary with my current degree? And then also write down the number of what is the median salary over time for someone with my current degree. And of course, that will mean thinking about some possible career options based on your degree, but you'll be able to figure out some sort of common career outcome with your degree, and then what's the starting salary and what's the median salary. Then I want you to take note of two other numbers. So these two numbers are what is the starting salary of someone with a graduate degree that I'm considering applying to, and then what is the median salary over time of someone with that graduate degree that I'm applying to. You want to make sure that that number grows and that that number is higher, and not just a little bit higher, substantially higher, so that it makes the cost of pursuing the education worthwhile. So again, the key is the difference between those two sets of numbers, how much you can expect to earn with just a bachelor's degree alone and how much you can expect to earn with a graduate degree. Then you want to account for the cost of that program that you're considering. And when I say cost, I mean the full cost, because a lot of times people just look at the tuition number and they forget to account for everything else that's involved when going to grad school. So beyond tuition, you're also having to pay for university fees, health insurance, any other charges, books, supplies, your housing and living expenses. And that is a huge amount of what it costs to go to grad school, is paying for your housing and living expenses. And also, here's something that a lot of people don't consider and account for is the income. Yes, the income that you might be giving up by not working during that time or by working less while you're enrolled as a student. Lost wages is a huge hidden cost, especially for someone who's pursuing longer multi-year programs. And you want to account for that because other folks who go straight into the job force, they'll be making that income and they might be getting some raises over time. They might be getting retirement contributions over time. And so that's all lost income. Applying to graduate school can feel overwhelming, especially when you're navigating the process without insider guidance. Through my grad school admissions consulting services, I offer first-generation and or BIPOC students who want strategic and culturally relevant guidance throughout the application process. Together, we can build a thoughtful grad school list, help you refine your CV or resume, develop a compelling personal statement, help you prepare for interviews, review funding offers, and accept an offer that excites you. I meet you wherever you are in the process and provide feedback and guidance every step of the way. Consulting packages also include access to my graduate admissions resource library with dozens of resources, as well as email and voice memo support between sessions. Past clients have submitted applications they felt comfortable with that reflect who they are and what they stand for. They have also been admitted to competitive programs, secured over 6 figures of funding, and say that this was the best investment they've made in the process. If you're preparing to apply, visit gradschoolfemtoring.com/consulting to learn more and schedule a free consultation. Let's take a look at something else. So step one is you estimate your earning potential with just a bachelor's and with an advanced degree. That could be a master's, PhD, JD, something else. Step two was calculate the full cost of attending graduate school. And then step three is you want to take a look at completion rates. Why am I telling you about completion rates? Because the ROI may only be worth it if you actually expect to complete that program. And not every program has high completion rates. Some programs have high attrition rates. And because retention is low, that means that there might be a good chance you're not going to finish your program. That would not be worthwhile for you to pursue a program where their alumni outcomes don't look great. And so take a look at what information is available either through their website or through other data sources to see how many students are actually completing this program and within how long. Are they taking the standard time to degree? It might be 1 or 2 years for a master's, 4, 5, 6 years for a PhD. Or are they taking longer? Are they taking 10 years to complete their program? Because all of this impacts your calculations and impacts whether or not you want to consider applying to this program. So look at the completion rates, look at the time to degree, meaning how long someone takes to finish their program. Take a look at attrition data, how many people are actually being pushed out or leaving their programs, and then make a fair judgment based on that info. After that third step of considering the completion rates, you want to think about other things beyond salary. So this is where I cannot tell you. And a lot of people want me to make that decision for them. They're like, Yvette, here's my situation. Here are my career options. Here's what I hope to make. This is my cost of living, etc. Tell me what to do. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I am not you. I can ask you a lot of questions, but ultimately it's up to you to decide if it's worthwhile. Because for some folks, the importance of going to graduate school and pursuing higher education goes beyond numbers. It's a very intrinsic thing and something that they would completely regret if they never pursued it. And so when you're looking beyond salary and beyond numbers, you want to think about things like intellectual fulfillment, professional autonomy. Maybe you'll have more leadership opportunities, or maybe you're looking for community impact in a way that this program provides. So ask yourself, is this program going to bring me closer to the kind of work that I actually want to do? And given how many graduates from this program actually fare on the job market, am I going to get closer to getting there? Will the funding, will the completion rates in this field or in this program actually support me? And not just that, but also support my long-term well-being. I'm talking physical well-being, emotional well-being, and even financial well-being. And then you want to ask yourself, does this path align with my values, including the kinds of problems I want to work on and the communities that I want to serve? I say all of this because not every program will have modest financial returns. In fact, when I did the calculation for myself as someone who pursued a PhD in the humanities, the ROI was actually negative. And yes, it is possible for you to have a negative ROI. I don't recommend it. But that intrinsic value is there. Again, you might have a modest financial return, but a very strong personal and community return, which is important to you if you're someone who cares about the humanities or about social impact or other relevant fields. Some folks are looking for strong earning potential, but maybe they're looking at programs with high attrition risk, or maybe those programs require a big investment of time, energy, long hours, significant stress, and maybe that's something that you also have to consider. So you want to weigh all of these trade-offs. And then in terms of the actual math in plain language, one of the things that you can do right now is to break down this process into 3 steps. 1, subtract your current salary from your projected salary. So going back to that first step, subtract your expected salary with your bachelor's degree from your projected salary with an advanced degree. Then you want to write down the total program cost. And then you want to divide that total cost by the yearly salary difference. So the total cost divided by annual salary increase, that will lead to you finding out the years to break even. And this is a very, very simplified version of a much more complicated process of calculating the ROI of grad school. But you want to find out, how many years of earning more will it take for me to recover what I spent to go to this program? And even if it's not the most accurate, even if it's a little bit on the simplified side of things, because this equation I'm giving you isn't accounting for student loans and interest rates, is still a rough estimate, and it can still give you more clarity when you're comparing between programs. Because even among the choice of should I go to grad school and shouldn't I, you might be debating and weighing different types of programs, and it may be worthwhile for one type and not the other. If you're interested in a more detailed version of this ROI calculation, please reach out. I do have an ROI calculator. It's both a spreadsheet and it also links to an app so that you can plug and play the numbers and figure out for yourself whether or not grad school makes financial sense for you, and if so, which programs are the ones that come with the highest return on investment. So that's it for today. I didn't get to share a couple of scenarios, but if you want to take a look at some sample scenarios, I am also going to link a blog post on this topic where I expand on what I shared today, and I share those 4 sample scenarios. So check it out. And at the end of this, if you found this helpful, please share it with a friend. Please leave a review. I love, love, love hearing from you all. Keep listening. Check out the resources in the show notes. I want you all to make an informed decision, and I want you to only pursue grad school if it makes sense for you. And again, I'm not the one that can make that decision for you. Only you can do that. But do that with the actual data and the numbers that can support your decision. Okay? All right. Thanks so much for listening. And as always, I'll talk to you all next time. Thanks so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, here are 3 ways you can support the show. The first is to make sure you're subscribed and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. The second way is to get your copy of my free resource kit linked in my show notes. This kit includes tools, worksheets, and curated podcast playlists to guide you through applying to and navigating grad school. The third way to support my show is by joining my email newsletter, where I share key takeaways and additional resources. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and it just occurred to me that ZipRecruiter has been sponsoring my podcast, The Way I Heard It, for the last 10 years. Consequently, I've agreed to sing their jingle at the end of this commercial in 4-part harmony, all by myself. Why would I do that? Because years ago, when the MicroWorks Foundation was expanding and I was desperate to hire a few uniquely qualified individuals, I posted a job for free on ZipRecruiter, and I found the people I was looking for in less than 24 hours. It's that simple. Ever since, I've been telling my audience that ZipRecruiter got me the most qualified, most interested people. And now I'm telling you. Post a job for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip and watch what happens. That's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. And now, here's their official jingle in 4-part harmony.
Build your team, build it sooner, meet your match at ZipRecruiter.